Before starting, sir, just I give you introduction, sir. Brief introduction. Okay, welcome everyone. We are here for today's workshop topic by Professor Mohammad Parvez Saab, Department of Education, AMU Aligarh. Professor Parvez Saab has a vast teaching experience. Graduation level 31 years, post-graduation level 31st year, research experience 29 years. He is appointed as a professor in Department of uh, uh, Education, AMU Aligarh. Without delay, I request Professor Parvez sir, kindly start your lecture. Enlighten us. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Rafiq Saab,
Thank you,
for
sir.
giving me this opportunity just to discuss some issues as the topic is given by you. Dear participants, good evening to you all. And I hope so that you all will be very much attentive because during my lecture, inshallah, I will ask you questions also. So it is expected everybody will give the answer, please. Now, the today's topic of discussion is here. Understand lecture method and teaching skills for learning. Dear participant, there are three important words here as far as this topic is concerned. Lecture method, teaching skills, and learning. Lecture method, I think it's well-known fact, it is given by idealism, and it is the most acceptable methods of teaching throughout the world. Second one, teaching skills. Teaching skills, basically teaching is also a profession, as we all know here. And each and every profession needs some special skills according to the need of that particular profession. In the same way, teaching is also a profession and it requires so many skills. And inshallah, I will discuss few teaching skills today also. Learning, it's a well-known thing to you all, but it has been defined by various experts, by various psychologists, by various ways. In a very simple way, we can say here the process that leads to the change which occurs as a result of experience. एक expert ने कहा a long lasting change in the behavior of an individual due to the certain experience. But dear students, as far as this topic is concerned, here we will discuss the topic, this learning into two parts. Here you will see the two types of learning, passive learning and active learning. That I will discuss. Now, as to the active learning is concerned, in brief, that you can understand very well. Active learning means when the learners are very much active in discussion or in teaching learning process. Suppose as I am discussing here through this lecture method, this method is supposed to be only the teacher is here active in lecture method. But all the students are there very much passive. Means in the active learning, it is expected the students must be active in the teaching learning process. And now when a teacher use such type of strategies, methods and techniques, when there is directly involvement of the students are here, then we can say this is basically an active learning. As you are seeing your screen, active learning means active learning refers to the techniques where students do more than simple listener to a lecture. It means here, the students will not listen the lecture only, rather they will participate. They will be more active. दूसरी एक लाइन और आप देखिए, active learning is an approach to instruction that involves activity engaging students. When the teacher basically, involving the students when there is, the teacher is basically compelling or using such type of techniques or approaches to teach when the students are involved. In brief, in one line, when we can say here, and teacher is basically passive. The second one is here passive learning. Passive learning means when all the students are passive and only teacher is active. And this is the best example of this lecture method, where only teacher is active and all the students they are passive, as you all are the passive listeners. I think it will be clear to you all, because this concept should be clear to you. It is very important. In brief, मैं सिर्फ एक लाइन में आपसे कहूँ, active learning means when the students are active and teacher is passive. Passive learning means when the students are passive and when the teacher is active. देखिए now, if you will see this, your screen, you will find the passive learning. 10% of what we read means when we read anything, then we understand only 10%. 20% of what we hear, when we hear, then we understand or we receive or we learn only 20%. 30% of what we see, जब हम देखते हैं, then when we see, then we learn on 30%. But 50% of what we see and hear, when we try to learn anything, if we are seeing as well as when we are seeing, then it means near about 50% learning takes place. Here in the active learning, 70% of what we say and write. Now here in the active learning, when the students are active, because he is saying as well as यहाँ राइट की स्पेलिंग गलत लिखी हुई है, ये राइट WRITE है, ये गलत लिखा है. 70% से सही कर लीजिएगा. 70% of what we say and when we write, जब हम लिखते हैं, then we learn 70%. And 90% of what we do, when we do something, then we learn here about 90%. Suppose we can give the example of any science practical also. No doubt when the teacher is teaching in the classroom, obviously he will deliver the lecture. Obviously, जैसे मैंने कहा, when you will read 10%, hear 20%, see 30%, or now when you see and hear, then you can learn 50%. But basically, when the teacher will demonstrate it, when the students themselves involved, when they will do here something, then it is expected the students will learn here about 90%. It means through passive learning, the learning will take less, but now in the active learning, the students will learn more. But now here, how you can make all the students active? So now there are few strategies when you can active to the students by different ways. एक वो क्या कहते हैं, number one, question answer technique. Like now when we will discuss here about the teaching skills also, then first of all I will discuss then the question answer skill also. But now here it is here teaching learning strategies. When the teacher is teaching in the classroom, how the teacher can make all the students active. कैसे हो सकता है? Question answer technique. Now when the teacher is basically asking the question, because in the active learning it is necessary the teacher should compel the student just to think the issues. To think the issues. When the students will think, they will learn more. 1 minute paper. During our lecture or after the lecture, when the teacher will say, just write down 2 or 3 important points. Whatever I have discussed here in this lecture. When the teacher will, when the students will write down here, through this way, the students will also think about the lecture. Then it happens as no doubt as I am also delivering a lecture, I am not sure, especially when we are here, especially on the line also, um, how many of you are really seriously listening and how many of you are not listening. That's another story. But even then, if even in the classroom also, it is necessary. It is not necessary when the eye contact is here, when there is total interaction also. Even then, it is not necessary. If in the classroom of 30 or 40 students, all will be listening you very carefully. There will be few moments will always be there when the students will be thinking somewhere else. So now for this purpose, after the lecture, it is expected the teacher can say, yes, write down the few very important points of whatever I have discussed here. Third one is there, think, pair, share. Here, according to this strategy, the teacher makes, the group of the students. It may be 2 or 3 students also. They will discuss with each other. Sometimes it happens when the teacher is teaching in the classroom, it is not necessary that all the concept will be clear. But the fact is this, if the friend will discuss with our friend, then they can ask very frankly any confusion, any question also with the student. Then the students, they can understand more clearly. Third one is a discussion. After the lecture, the teacher may organize a discussion. Means he can make a group of 4 or 5 or 10 students. They will sit together and the teacher will say, yes, discuss this topic, whatever I have discussed. Obviously, when the students will start discussion and nobody can participate in the discussion without any study, it is expected the students will come in the classroom after consulting some books also, after study also, and after listening lecture of the teacher also. So now here this discussion is also very healthy because please don't forget it. It is basically active learning that I have discussed in the beginning. It is necessary that all the students, they must participate there. They must be active. So now this discussion is also very important and very forceful aspect just to make all the students active. Then next one is brain storming. Here in the brainstorming means after the lecture or even the during lecture also. Suppose as I am giving very brief introduction of active learning or passive learning. Here, if in this stage, if I ask to you, anybody will explain the active learning? Will anybody explain the passive learning? When I will ask this question, it is very much obvious you will start thinking. So now, when the 2 or 3 minutes will be given to you all, and then I will say, yeah, please explain passive learning. Then it will also become active learning because you will think about this issue, this topic. And next and last one is in-class demonstration. After the discussion, when you will say to the students, yes, now everybody will speak 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes about this topic. Obviously, when they will come back at their home, they will prepare for next day demonstration. So they will think about this the topic. So this is basically active learning. But now here, important thing is here, as far as the lecture method is concerned, how you can make or how you can compel the student for thinking about any topic. This is very important. So, देखिए, now comes up teaching skills. Which skills are very important? Through this way, you can, compel the students just to think about the issues. So now, as I have given a very brief introduction of teaching skills in few lines, skills means special ability or capability of a person just to for any special profession. As you know, teaching is also a profession. When a teacher teaches in the classroom, then he uses near about 20 and more than 20 skills at a time. And these are the few skills basically which a teacher uses in the classroom. Instructional objective, organizing content, creating chat for introducing the lesson, structuring classroom questions, question delivery, response, explaining, illustrating with example, using teaching aids, stimulus variation, reinforcement, pacing of the lesson, prompting, use of blackboard, achieving closure lesson, giving assignment, evaluating the people's progress, diagnosing people learning. Management of the class. These are the few skills when all the teachers they basically use in the classroom. But now here it is not practically possible just in the 1 hour duration that I can discuss all the teaching skills. But I will discuss few very simple. And first of all, I will take the most simple illustration with example. जरा गौर से सुनिएगा because then I will ask some questions also. Illustration with examples. Means sometimes it happens when a teacher teaches in the classroom and during our lecture, when the teacher asks, your concept is clear? In some cases, the few students may say to the teacher, sir, madam, concept is not clear. Now, as it is the opinion of experts, a poor teacher will use the same words and same sentences. Then he will explain. Then it doesn't make any difference. Again, the students will say, sir, the concept is not clear. But an expert teacher will always try to explain the concept with the help of examples. But the important thing is here, what type of examples should be here? So now here, first of all is formulating simple examples. Formulating simple example. Now here the term simple is basically a relative term. One example may be simple for one class student, may not be simple to another class students. May be simple for the girls, may not be simple for the boys. May be simple for the rural students, may not be simple for urban. It is basically a relative term. And now before giving an example, the teacher must keep in our mind the background of the student. Either they belong from a big city or a small city, they belong from rural area, urban area, what is the age of the student, what is the psychology of the student. There are so many factors. But that example is supposed to be the best if that is related with the practical life of the student. So it is necessary before selecting any simple example, because the ultimate aim is here just to make our concept more simple. More simple. That is why after the concept, when the teacher is giving some example, so that now second one is here, formulating interesting example. Now the same formula is also applicable here. Interesting example. This is also a relative term. One example may be interesting for 11th class students, may not be interesting for the 12th class students. May be interesting for the rural students, may not be interesting for the urban students. So again, the same formula, same thing is also applicable that I have discussed under the heading of formulating simple example. The teacher should also check the background of the students. Either they are boys or girls, they belong from urban area, rural area, what is the age, what will be the psychology. Then the teacher should find out or should give some interesting example according to their interest. Now, formulating relevant example. Here, by giving this example, the ultimate aim of the teacher is here just to make our concept more simple. So all the students they can understand. But now, suppose if any teacher is giving irrelevant example, then further the students will be more confused. The teacher was giving the example because when the students were saying, yes, sir, the concept is not clear, that is why he is just giving an example. So he must be very much careful. The example must be befitting, relevant. That example which can convey the correct concept to all the students. So this is also very important. The example should be very much relevant. Now, use of appropriate approach. Now here in the exam, there are two approaches are here. Inductive approach and deductive approach. In one approach, you can explain the concept, then you can give the example. Another approach, first of all, you can give the example, then you can give the concept. Both the inductive and deductive, both the approaches are correct, but it depends on the will of the teacher, which approach we should apply, deductive or inductive. Which as far as this skill is concerned, illustration with example. Up to this stage, you can say here that this is basically suitable or correct for passive learning. मेरी बात जरा यहाँ गौर से सुनिएगा please. When the teacher is explaining any concept in the classroom with the help of this examples, then you can say here this is basically passive learning. But now here on the other end, if the teacher is asking the question after discussing any concept, if a teacher asks to the student, please give any suitable example about the concept, whatever I have discussed. When the teacher will give this task to the student, I have discussed this concept just now. Give me its example. When the teacher will involve the student, again the students will start thinking that will become active learning. That will become active learning. But I am just explaining it again in brief. When the teacher is simply trying to explain any concept with the help of example, when the teacher is simply explaining, then it will be a passive learning. Because here the teacher is the only person who is speaking, but all the students are here passive listeners. So you can say here up to this stage, when the teacher is explaining, then it will be a क्या होगा? Passive learning. Now here after the explaining the concept, when the teacher will ask, yes, give me any suitable example. When the students will start thinking about the concept, when they will give the answer, then it will become active learning. I think that this concept is clear to you all. Please give answer. Anybody please speak?
Yes, sir. It's clear.
Is it clear? Look, now, second one is here, stimulus variation skill. Look, there are also two words. There are two words. Stimulus variation. This is also a very important teaching skill. The fact is this, these skills are very important, especially just to keep all the students attentive in the classroom. If the students will not be motivated, then the fact is this, there will be no any sort of learning will take place. So stimulus variation. Stimulus means activity. Variation means change. It means just to keep all the students motivated, just to keep them attentive. It is there must be variation in the activity of the teacher. As it is the opinion of the experts, if the teacher is not doing any activity, or if the teacher is doing simply one activity throughout the period, then after a few minutes, that teaching will become dull and monotonous. It means there should be change in the activity of a teacher. Now, the first component is here, movement. Movement of the teacher. Suppose if a teacher is delivering the lecture in the classroom, but throughout his period, he is standing on one place. There is no movement. He is just standing on the podium, or even he is standing on one place without any podium also. What will happen when the students will see to all the, to that teacher on throughout this period from the same angle? Because the teacher is not changing her place. Then after some time it will happen, there may be some sort of pain in the back of the student and as well as neck of the student, and this pain will basically hamper the motivation of students. If they are not motivated, no learning will take place. So for this purpose, it is necessary the movement, means the teacher should also change our place. Sometimes the teacher will go near the blackboard, sometimes he will come in the one corner of the classroom, sometimes he will go in another corner of the classroom. So this movement is also very important. When the teacher will change our place, the students will also change our posture, in which posture the students were sitting already. So this movement is also very important. Second one is their gesture. Gesture here means the movement of face expression, face, and as well as movement of hand also. Now during your lecture, your movement of the hand will also be according to the concept. Suppose if a teacher is standing like a pillar and there is no movement in the hand, there is no change in the face expression, then it will become very monotonous and very boring lecture of the teacher. Sometimes the teacher will show our paw, sometimes he will move our hand, sometimes the teacher will change our face expression also, by keeping in view or by seeing the response of the students also. So this change of gesture will also keep all the students attentive. Now another is here, change in the voice of the teacher. Because as I speak here one sentence, change in the voice. There is also variation in my way of speaking. Change in the voice. My emphasis lies here on the word change in the voice. Like I say now here, there should be change in the voice of the teacher also. Because if the teacher is continuously speaking in the classroom with the same pitch, same tone, same speed, then the teaching will become boring, very boredom. Now change, the three things are here: tone, pitch, and speed. Tone means here quality of sound. Pitch means the frequency of sound. And third one is the speed. by which the teacher is delivering the lecture. It means the teacher should also change the tone according to the concept, according to the need. Because whenever you will speak any sentence, there will always be one or two words which need some more emphasis. जैसे मैंने अभी कहा, change in the voice. The word change is very important in the few words. Then I emphasize here on the change. So now there should be some change in the tone. Pitch, there should be change in the frequency. Sometime I will speak little more high pitch. Sometime I will speak in the low pitch also. So this variation is also very helpful for the students also, just to keep all the students attentive. Now here the speed is also very important. As it is the opinion of the different experts, if you feel that your class is weak, then your speed should be slow. According to one research, a tongue with normal mind can process near about 250 words in a minute. I will just repeat it again. Please listen it here. A normal tongue with normal mind can process near about 250 words in a minute. But for effective teaching, the teacher should process only 50 words in a minute. 50 words in a minute. It means the teacher should deliver our lecture slow, so that all the students, they can understand. This is very important. Sometimes it happens to teachers, they speak very fast. If a teacher is very much habitual to speak very fast, obviously the achievement level of the students will be very low. Now comes the focusing that I have given just like this example also. जैसे मैंने कहा the change in the voice. Here it is expected the teacher will also focus or emphasize on a few very important words of the sentence. So this focusing is also very important. Change in the interaction pattern. Now another thing is also which is very important, just to keep all the students attentive. And apart from this, for active learning, the teacher should also change interaction pattern also. Sometimes it happens the teacher asks the question with the whole class. Sometimes it happens the teacher may ask a question with an individual student also. Sometimes it may happen the teacher may ask another student by, after the answer given by another student, now do you agree with the opinion of that person? It means change in the interaction pattern. This interaction may be between the teacher and the student, means the whole class. It may be between a teacher and the individual student, and this interaction may be between two students also. So this change is also very, very important. The name of this skill is stimulus variation, change in the activity. So this change is also very important. Now the pausing. Pausing means little silence. Little silence. Suppose if you are explaining anything, now let me give an example. जैसे जब मैं कहूँ आपसे, suppose if you are teaching democracy, there is well-known definition of democracy given by Abraham Lincoln. If you are teaching like this, democracy is the government which is of the people, for the people, by the people, means there is no pauses. But now here, it is not permissible. It is not correct way of teaching. If the teacher is teaching in the classroom without any pausing. But an effective teacher will explain this way Democracy is the government which is of the people, for the people, and by the people. So during our this definition, there is some pauses, little silence between few words. But the important thing is here, this little silence must not be more than 3 seconds. Must not be more than 3 seconds. Because if this little silence will be more than 3 seconds, then it will break the continuity. It will break the continuity. Now here, this is also a very important component of the stimulus variation skill. While delivering anything, there must be little pausing also. Then people physical participation. Even क्या कहते हैं, now you can call one student from the class, come to the blackboard and please draw this picture, write down this formula. Means participation. Participation is also very important. Then oral visual switching. Because nowadays, as you know, in the smart classroom, there are different types of teaching aid. The teacher is totally free. Sometimes he may use only visual teaching aid. Sometimes he may use oral visual. Sometimes the teacher may use oral visual teaching aid also. Important thing is here the change in the in the activity of the teacher. देखिए, as far as this skill is concerned, it is basically related to the passive learning. There is little chances of of this active learning. Now, another is here reinforcement. Reinforcement. But before this reinforcement, I will discuss another. Like structuring classroom questions. This is also very important. When I was explaining here illustration with example, then if you remember that I have discussed now after discussing any concept, when the teacher will ask, please give any suitable example about this concept whatever I have discussed. Then this passive learning may convert into a active learning. When the teacher is basically involving the student, when the teacher is basically emphasizing or pressurizing to the student just to think about the issues. So this is basically when the teacher is asking, give any suitable example. So now here, by asking some questions, the teacher can switch over from passive learning to active learning. But now here, what type of questions should a teacher ask? Avoid. क्या कहते हैं? The teacher should try to avoid requiring yes or no answers questions. Means, if you will ask the questions that are requiring yes or no, generally you will find the most of the students, they will give the answer without thinking. Without thinking. Because they know it here, either there will be yes or no answer. A teacher is writing any formula on the blackboard. When the teacher is asking, yes, what is your opinion? This formula is correct or wrong? Obviously, if it is a correct, the students will say correct. Or even if the correct formula, the students are saying, sir, your formula is wrong. Then generally the other students, they just see the face expression of the teacher. If the teacher is not satisfied with the answer of the student, it will reflect through his face expression. Then the other student, they may change our opinion without thinking, means they just use our brain just to read the face expression of the teacher. Suppose if the teacher is asking, Mr. Yogi is the Chief Minister of UP, although it's yes, I'm just giving an example, but the student is saying, sir, no, it will depict through your face expression. And now the students are giving the wrong answer, then they will just change our opinion. Yes, without thinking. So now here, whenever you will ask any question, if its answer is here yes or no, the most of the students, they will give the answer without thinking about the question. So one should try to avoid the questions requiring yes or no answer. Because ultimate aim of the teacher is here just to think about the question. And here your question is not giving this opportunity to the student. They just think about the question. They are just guessing. Now, another is the use of leading questions. The teacher should also try to avoid leading questions. Leading question means when the answer is already here in the question. Is Mr. Yogi Chief Minister of India of UP? The answer will be yes or no. And as well as the answer is already here in the question. So this is called leading questions. So one should try to avoid the leading questions also. Instead of asking this question, is Mr. Yogi Chief Minister of UP? You can ask, who is the Chief Minister of UP? When you just change the structure of the question, obviously this question will compel the students to think. And now again, I'm repeating it again. When the students will think, then this passive learning will convert into active learning. Double-barreled questions. Double-barreled question means there must not be two inquiries in one question. Only one inquiry should be here in one question. आपने पूछा, who is the Chief Minister of UP and which party is in power? There is no need to ask these two things. You can divide this question into two parts. In one question, you can ask here who is the Chief Minister of UP. दूसरे में पूछ सकते हैं which party is in power in another question. But now here, there is no, this is simply an example, no need to ask double-barreled questions when the two inquiries are here. Ambiguous question. Ambiguous question, here whenever you will use the word about in your question, then it will become ambiguous question. What do you know about the law of motion? What do you know about the President of India? The word about means you can speak, you can explain, you can write as much as you like. Because there is no limit of the about. What do you know about Aligarh? What do you want to ask? Either you are asking about the population or you want to there is no limit. You can say whatever you like about the Aligarh. So this word, please never use the word about. The question becomes ambiguous. Because now here, skill components and what type of thing you should ask. Relevance. Number one thing is here, your question should be relevant. No need to ask any irrelevant questions. No need to ask any confusing questions. Precision. Your question should be very clear, precise. Sometimes it happens when a teacher try to ask the question, he think about the question. Then he asks, or he just, adds so many other things also. Yes, from the back bench, yeah, from the front bench, who will give the answer of fala fala, then he will ask the questions. So no need to ask or add anything when you are asking any question. Your question should be very much precise so all the students they can understand. Clarity. Your statement should be very much clear. Use very simple, clear language. No need of any sort of other language. Grammatical correctness. Sometimes it happens the teacher may use some wrong grammar also. So grammatically it should be correct. Level of the questions also. Another very important aspect is here. You will find generally three types of questions. Higher order question, lower order question, middle order question. Higher order question means very difficult question. Very difficult question. Suppose if you are asking who was the second prime president of USA, higher order question. Or although as far as the levels of question is concerned, it totally depends the class to whom you are teaching. Either you are teaching to the 12th class students, or you are teaching the graduate students, you are teaching the postgraduate students. This is basically, I will say here, it is basically relevant term. One question may be simple for one class, it is not necessarily the same question may be simple for another class. But now there are three types of questions. Higher order, very difficult. Lower order, very simple. Middle order, in between higher and order. So before asking any question, the teacher must know the level of the question also. Okay, now एक second. देखिए, although there are so many skills, अरे भाई एक मिनट. Now there are few points just to make our lecture more effective. Number one, अब जरा सा इसको और से देख लीजिएगा. There are few suggestions so that you can make your lecture more effective. There should be a right kind of beginning and end. Now, when you are delivering the lecture, your beginning should be from the very basic thing. If you remember when I start my this lecture, then first of all I explain what is, in few lines, what is lecture method, what is teaching skill, and as well as what is learning, passive and active learning. And now in the end, when the teacher finishes the lecture, then in brief he should discuss a summary of the lecture also. Second one also, we should start with a brief introduction of the topic that I discussed. After proper introduction of the topic, the teacher must announce the topic in a very clear terms and write it down on the blackboard also, or show on the transparency. Sometimes it happens that the few students, they join our class few minutes late. And now if the teacher is not writing the name of the topic on the blackboard, then when the student will enter in the classroom, he will always be confused of which topic the teacher is discussing. Or he will disturb to other students also. And he will ask with our colleagues, our friends, now what is the topic the teacher is discussing here. So now if you will write down the name of the topic on the blackboard, at least they will not disturb others, and as well as they will not disturb to the teacher also. So it is also very important just to write down the name of the topic on the blackboard also. The teacher should explain the concept according to the level of the student. This is very important. You have to keep in your mind either you are teaching graduate students or postgraduate students, or you are teaching the 12th class students. Your explanation, your examples should also be according to the level of the student. Even as I have just now, when you are asking the question, you have to keep in mind the level. Either I should ask some higher order question or lower order, middle order, or lower. The teacher should adopt psychological approach of moving from concrete examples towards abstract generalization. Is inductive approach. Means when you are giving any example that I have already discussed, then you have to keep in our mind, क्या कहते हैं, from concrete, there are few maxims of teaching. Maxims of teaching also. Concrete to abstract, simple to difficult, from concrete to abstract. So now another suggestion is also here. The teacher should move from concrete to the abstract. Number 6, matter should be arranged such a way as to leave a single clear impression on the minds of the student. Now here when you are explaining anything in the classroom, suppose if you are teaching the meaning of any topic, कोई भी topic ले लें, meaning of फला and its merit demerit. So now here the teacher should discuss accordingly. First of all, the teacher should give a brief introduction. Then he should discuss its meaning also. Then after explaining the meaning, then he should discuss the merit and demerit. There must be a perfect sequence so that all the students they can understand bit by bit. Now the teacher should have pause in between the sentence so that the students may learn the new knowledge bit by it. I think it will be clear to you all that I have discussed. The teacher should also use some pauses. And I hope it will be clear to you all the duration, the pauses must not be more than, anybody will tell me the duration? क्या बताया था मैंने कितना सेकंड का होना चाहिए?
3 seconds.
3 seconds. Shabash, very good. So now the teacher should have pauses in between the sentences. So this pauses is also very important and its duration must not be more than 3 seconds. Now the rate of exposition should be slow when the class is weak. If you feel my class is weak, then your explanation must be more slow. But it must not break the continuity. इतना slow नहीं होना चाहिए if it breaks the continuity. But now, even it means for the, if the class is weak for the slow learners, it is necessary your explanation, your exposition should be little slow. Then there should be abundant repetition, but it should be in a new way so that the class will not feel dullness. Sometimes it happens, one should not repeat the same statement again and again. If you are explaining, then it should be, and the presentation should be in a new way. Suppose first of all, if you have discussed the concept, then you can explain the same thing with the help of just मैंने अभी कहा गया example also. But now here if you are speaking the same sentences, same words again and again, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, then the class will become dull and will hamper the motivation of the student. And again, important thing is here, if there is no more motivation, no learning will be there. Language use should be familiar and suitable. This is also very important thing. The language should be very simple, interesting also, suited to the ability of the student. What is the age group to whom you are dealing with? The lesson should be divided into sections which have a logical sequence. Then I have discussed, आपने जैसे मैंने कहा कि if you have discussed the पहले meaning discuss करनी, फिर उसकी जो भी चीजें हैं, merit demerits हो या features हो, मान लीजिए आपने if you want to discuss the meaning, features, the merit demerits. This is the perfect sequence. First of all, you will discuss about the meaning. You will give some definitions also. Then you will discuss about the features also. Then you will discuss about the merit and demerit also. There must be a perfect sequence. Perfect sequence. The teacher should use ICT properly and appropriately. This is also very important thing nowadays. It has become very much common. And now the teacher should also use ICT in a very proper and appropriate way. And especially with the help of this internet, with the help of this smart classroom, the important thing is here you can make your lecture more effective and interesting also. Actual objects, model diagrams, sketches should be used. Obviously, it is very much possible through this smart classroom, through internet. Students should be encouraged to ask questions, and teachers should also ask the questions with the students just to keep them attentive. This is very important aspect. During our lecture, the teacher should also ask some question with the students. Because if all the students, they have this impression, now this teacher will never ask any question in the classroom. Even the teacher will not ask, your concept is clear. We know it very well. When the teacher will start in the classroom, he will just stop our lecture when the bell goes. Then they will not listen so attentively. But now during your lecture, if you are asking some questions, as I have discussed about the strategies of active learning also, after discussing a concept, when you say, yes, tell me the 2 points, 3 points within 2 or 3 minutes. Write down the very important points of the topic, whatever I have discussed here. Then obviously, the student, they will listen very carefully कि teacher बीच में सवाल कर सकते हैं, so we should listen it very carefully. So this is also very important aspect. And sometimes it happens that the few students, they have this impression that now if we will ask the question, now हमारे teacher जो है ये नाराज हो जाएंगे, ये अच्छा नहीं लगेगा. So no, the teacher should encourage the students to ask the questions. But at the same time, जैसे मैंने कहा, the teacher should also ask the question during our lecture. Then number 16, verbal illustrations such as examples, comparison, etc. should be used to enable the student to grasp the exposition. So that I have discussed already this skill. Pictorial illustrations such as pictures, maps, and charts should be freely used, as these help in motivating the student. Obviously, as I discussed, the aims of lecture should be kept in view. And teacher should assess time to time the achievement level of the student during the lecture by asking some questions. This is also very important thing also. During your lecture, if you will ask the questions, you can very well assess the achievement level of the student. I am teaching, either students are listening me or not, the concept is clear or not, they are attentive or not. So now for this purpose, it is necessary the teacher should also ask some questions during our lecture also. Now, thank you very much for listening me. And I hope the concept will be clear to you all. And now please, you all are free, you can ask any question. Rafiq Saab, are you listening me please?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, please
Yes,
give few minutes
thank
to
you.
all the participants. They can ask any question, please.
Yes, yes.
I am waiting here.
Thank you very much, sir. Your wonderful lectures. If you have any questions, dear participants, if you have any questions, you can ask. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rafiq Saab. They are not asking any question.
Sir, we just waited how to deal with the different types of students.
Hmm?
Someone asked, sir,
Yes.
how to deal with different types of the student at the same time in the class. Saad Zafar asking, sir.
What do you mean by type? उनको डायरेक्ट पूछने दीजिए. Yes, please. Who is asking the question?
Saad Zafar, sir. Saad Zafar is asking how to deal with the different types of.
देखिए,
How
the
to
word
deal
type
with
is very much vague. What do you mean by type? Intelligent, poor, notorious, simple. टाइप
Some
से क्या मतलब है उनका?
some might be indisciplined.
Yes.
He is asking some might be
Like
indisciplined.
now, basic thing is here. If you are regular, if you are reaching in classroom in time, if you are teaching effectively, if each and every students are very much satisfied, then I am very much sure even a very notorious student, he will also be very much disciplined. But now here, if you are going late, but you are not allowing to any late students, you are late 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but in the next day, the teacher himself is coming late, then they will not listen you. So the fact is this, if your explanation is clear, if your concept is clear, if you are teaching them wholeheartedly, and apart from this, if you have developed a good rapport with our students, even the notorious students, they will also be very much disciplined in the classroom. Any other, please?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to your outstanding lecture on understanding lecture methods and teaching skill for the active learning. During the 1 week teachers training program on effective teaching and classroom management held from October 26 to 20 and 30, 2023. Your presentations was truly enlightening, and I want to extend my thanks for the sharing your extensive knowledge and experience in the field of education. Your 29 years of teaching experience and the remarkable achievement of the supervising 12 PhD scholars in various research areas are a testament to your dedications and commitment to the field of education. Your insights and guidance have undoubtedly left a lasting impact on all us who had privilege to attending your workshop. Your ability to make complex topics easily understandable and your passions for the teaching shown through the during your lecture. It was the valuable lecture experience that will undoubtedly benefit us in your teaching careers. Your presentation style and practical insights you provide were not only the informative but also highly engaging. Once again, thank you your invaluable contribution to our professional development. Your lectures have left a lasting impression to all us, and we are grateful for the opportunity to learn from the educator of your caliber. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Rafiq sir.
If there is any questions, you can ask. Sir is also available here. Otherwise, we will leave it. I think.
Okay, Rafiq sir, can I leave now?
Sir, just a minute. Sir, can you
Oh,
open
yes.
your camera, please? I request the all participant. Can you open your camera, please? I request the all participant. Can you open your camera, please? I request the all participant. I request the all participant. Can you open your camera, please? I request the all participant. Can you open your camera, please? Yes, open your camera, please. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir, coming this sessions. Now you can leave, sir.
Okay. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Allah Hafiz, sir. Thank you very much.